All right, so progression steps through a corner. This is what I teach at every class. Progression step number 1 is that you stand up the whole way through. So balls of feet, eyeing up the line, nice and smooth. Second time through. Gonna sit at the end of the corner, so pumping through the first part, finding a good spot to sit right at the end. Third time through, I'm standing, but I'm gonna sit slightly earlier. And for me, by the 4th time through, I can kind of find that good sweet spot. So standing until 50% mark. And then, Ethan, you know what we're gonna do here. We're gonna go one hand, because why not? Nice and easy, sitting in the same spot. And one hand scrub. Again. What gear was the sweet spot through here for group 1s? Was 3rd gear the sweet spot for almost everybody? Was anybody going down to 2nd? I think I was in 2nd for one of them. Okay, that was what I was going to say with you, Griff, is like you were a little inconsistent with your gear selections, it sounded like. 3rd gear on that bike should be the sweet spot. Okay. 3rd gear on almost every bike here should be the sweet spot in this corner, for the most part. 2nd gear is going to run out too quickly. What's nice about 3rd is you should be able to carry it until you're in the air off that jump, and then get your upshift in the air off that jump. If we're not doing that yet, for all the group 1s, that should be what we're doing, right? Same thing, if I were to jump all of that thing in one, I'd be getting my upshift from 3rd to 4th in the 450 in the air off that step down, right? And then in the air off of this last table is where I'd get my downshift to 3rd from 4th, right? So that's where you should be getting the downshifts as well. Don't scramble for the downshifts last second here. You might want to do that if this got rough enough, but for how it is today, I think you can accomplish the downshift earlier on the tabletop. Just get it out of the way. I did see a couple of you guys starting to jump a little bit into the corner. I'm okay with that. Just make sure you land with the knees back. Don't jump and land and let the knees and body cave forward, because that's going to really disrupt the bike for the flow of that corner. You got to land with those strong legs, keep those knees back. Our landing should be like this, not like this, blowing through the front. All right, guys, before we get back to this video, as always, I'm mixing in LMNT. This is an electrolyte powder, a healthy version of electrolyte powder. For you guys to hydrate, you really need something to retain the water. And that sodium, potassium, magnesium is going to be what really retains the water, so you guys can be hydrated all the time. Whether you're sweating like crazy, working out, or just living your normal life, I really advise, like, stop drinking just regular water all the time. You're never going to be properly hydrated. Try drinklmnt.com/AJCat330. So today I'm riding, so I'm mixing a little bit more dense. And you can try 8 flavors for free with your order. Today we're doing some raspberry salt. I'm a chronic cramper, so I get Charlie horses really bad. Since I started drinking LMNT, I do not cramp, period. At all, ever. And I used to cramp so bad to the point where I would just get completely stuck in position, and it was extremely painful. I also get really bad headaches. As soon as I'm dehydrated just a little bit, I can feel those headaches starting to come on. And since drinking LMNT, nothing. So give it a try, drinklmnt.com/AJCat330. Back to the video.
Another thing I was seeing a lot of them doing is they're not opening up the corner.
Yeah, you look good though. On the bars, you were sitting right where you're sitting now, which is just a little bit too far back, and it would cause a hunch. The part of the seat that you are currently doesn't work. So you were sitting kind of where she just did too, just too far back. Anybody kind of getting bugged a little bit or thrown out of position by those acceleration bumps and that chop on the exit of the corner? Anybody felt like they were getting kind of thrusted by that? The technique is that this isn't an exaggeration, 100% of the weight when we exit that corner should be in the outside leg and the outside foot, 100%. So basically, although we're going both feet on, it's almost like doing a pistol squat, right? All of the weight is in that outside foot. And what that will do is it alleviates pressure from your butt, so that way when you hit the bumps, you can gently let that seat leave your butt and then meet your butt again. Instead of the alternative, which is the person that sits down, puts all the weight in their butt, and then just hits the bumps and are just getting jarred and pulled back further and further and further as they get through the corner. When you ride rough tracks, especially like national tracks, the acceleration chop is what will get you more than anything, right? Braking bumps and stuff coming into the corner, that's usually pretty easy to deal with. It's that acceleration stuff on the way out that you've got to figure out. If we can drive it into the leg instead of just holding on for dear life with the arms, that's going to be the key. Both groups, what we're going to jump into now is one hand drill. The reason I like to start with it pretty close to the beginning of the day or earlier in the day than deeper into it is because this should now pinpoint the one thing that you really need to prioritize and think about the most. If you've never done it before, ease your way into it. The feedback I typically get is that people are a little nervous when I say to take your hand off and ride with one hand, and then as soon as they do it, they realize it was easier than what they thought it was going to be. I like to keep the hand here just to kind of emphasize being nice and squared up and remaining square. The goal is to ride normal, meaning stand where you would stand, sit where you would sit. As you get comfortable, you can hit some of the jumps and catch a little bit of air if you're comfortable with that as well. All you have to do is think about what this drill is going to teach you. So when you're out there, think about, okay, what's difficult right now? Because whatever is most difficult when the hand comes off is exactly the first thing that you need to fix when you put the hand back on. Who here has not done the one hand drill before? All right, cool. It'll be a lot of your first time then. Kenny C18, question? Which hand do we take? Oh, I knew the which hand question was coming. So just because you asked that, Kenny C18, you're gonna have to go left hand across. Yes, you're gonna have to reach across to the other side. And not only that, but I'd actually prefer you do it upside down from across. Little tip. Standing up more is usually helpful. Keeping feet on the pegs is especially helpful. If we go inside foot off while our hand's also off, well, now we only have two limbs holding on to the bike. Get those feet tight, get those toes tight. You might have been a little tighter than what you were, but overall, really good. Keep those feet on. Yeah, good. You're engaging muscle groups that maybe you weren't before. So maybe that weight's dropping more into your hamstrings. Maybe that weight is being supported more by your core, which by the way is your lower back, that's all core, right? When the hand's on, most of us, myself included, muscle the bike and manhandle the bike around with our arms, whether we realize we're doing it or not. And when you take the hand off for that drill, it does kind of instantly make you realize, holy cow, I was holding on way too much in this section. And wow, in this section here, this muscle group is now engaged and activated when before I wasn't using it at all. I was just using my arms to get me through it. That's a beautiful drill and it's a good reset drill. So now you don't want to be at the track when there's 100 people out there and just try to join everybody doing the one hand drill, unless you're a master at it. But if you're at the public track and there's not too many people out there, if you can find a corner track, a figure eight, an oval, and just practice a little one hand to reset your day, because a lot of times people are struggling to find flow, they're making a lot of mistakes and they can't quite figure out why, and they spend the whole day kind of fighting it. You ride for a lap or two with the hand off and it's going to tell you exactly what your issue is on that given day. Was there anything else that it kind of pointed out to anybody? Any aha moments or realization? Especially the Stark, which is a slippery bike. When you take the hand off, you realize how slippery it is. And especially like acceleration bumps, if you guys didn't notice those before, you probably started to notice them then. Did anybody feel like they couldn't go from sitting to standing with the hand off? Or did anybody feel like they couldn't really very well go from standing to sitting, like making those transitions? Or they felt like there's no way I can hit a jump with this hand off right now, right? That would usually be a matter of just lack of grip strength. So it's driving the knees back, finding that contact point, and locking into that contact point.